Hello students, welcome to second year commerce class. We were discussing about agency services carried out by a commercial bank. In my previous class I told you that banks are extending their services in order to give maximum satisfaction to the customers, at the same time maximize their profits. Okay. The bankers are trying to extend the services to maximize their profits. Naturally, you see, when you give additional service, automatically customer is satisfied to a greater extent. So, in my previous class also I told you, if you stick on to only limited functions, always customers expect something extra. Nowadays, people are busy, they are very having routine schedule, do not have any leisure to visit banks and again. They cannot do certain things on their own. So nowadays they have become dependent because of their busy schedules and various reasons. Now we have to take advantage of that. So when a student is unable to study on her own or his own, now we require a tutor. So someone will make the student to study. So the tutor is earning money by making the student study and explaining it for second time or some helping. If the student is able to do that on own, no requirement of tuition. So earlier people were very hardworking and say they had leisure. Their nature of working was very simple, not much competition. So they used to do things on their own to greater extent. But nowadays it has become hectic and mechanized life. So really we do not have that much time to spare on performing our duties. For example, you take payment of electricity bill. A decade ago, when these Paytms, PhonePays and Google Pays were not there, what your parents were doing to pay the electricity bill? Whenever they get the salary, then one particular day, maybe in the morning or in the evening, they have to visit to the electricity office nearby, show the bill and make the payment. So they used to spare around half an hour, 1 hour, or maybe on a particular Sunday, stand in queue to make the payment of electricity bill. So we were wasting time. Those days we had that time. Today really do you have that luxury of time? No. We are very busy in various things. Okay. So we cannot afford wasting of 1 hour time in making the payment of electricity bill. So what we are doing today? We are using the digital mode of payments, like either Google Pay or PhonePay. From your mobile, net banking, you are making the payment. So you try to understand what the bank is doing. The bank is paying your electricity bill, but not from the banker's pocket, from your pocket only. So you have got money into your account. You have got money in your account. So you are asking the bank by using the PhonePay app or Google Pay app, whatever it may be, you are asking your bank to make that payment. So bank is making the electricity bill payment on behalf of you to that electricity corporation. So the transaction is done. You want to recharge your mobile, pay your internet services, everything. So that's how the bankers are extending services, because today the customer is in need of them. Customers want more relaxed, more luxurious life. They do not have time to visit various offices and they don't want to take the trouble also. Got it, ma'am? So, apart from agency services, commercial banks will perform certain general utility services also. So, the last category of services, try to understand. First, commercial bank, any bank services are two types: primary functions, secondary functions. Primary functions, two categories: accepting deposits, advancing of loans. Secondary functions, again two types. First is agency services. This all we have discussed in the previous class. Now the second category is general utility services. General utility services means the services which are provided by the bank, to the society in a generalized manner. That means the services which help the society to the great extent, which facilitates the smooth conduction of trade and which facilitates the smooth running of life, and for the betterment of society, whatever are provided are called as general utility services. They are, first one, locker facility. What is a locker? Locker is a place where your valuables are stored. Maybe a cupboard. So all of you have got that almara at your home. So in that iron almara, you find a locker inside that. Many a times you might have seen your mom keeping you the jewelry into that locker, or your father saving that cash into that locker and locking it properly, keeping that key safe. So that means, why do we use lockers at home? To safeguard our valuables, jewelry, cash or important documents. We use it to save in our cupboards at home. Clear? But what is the problem? In the recent times, in almost 80% of the houses, or at least 70% of the houses, all are working. Okay, all are working. No one will stay home during the day hours. Sometimes we go out of station by locking the doors. Then what's happening? There is lot of threat to our valuables. Thieves may steal away all our valuables because our cupboard is not such safe. It is normal iron cupboard. Many a times you see in newspaper and television that 60 tulas of gold is stolen, 40 lakhs of cash is stolen. The thieves broke open that locker cupboard in so and so house. Every day you will have that news, either in electronic media or print media. You find so many news of that. So that means when you are keeping your valuables like jewelry or cash in your home, it is not safe. That one means everybody is not losing, but there are certain high chances of losing your valuables, particularly when you are out of station or you are working. So nowadays thieves are very smart and they have got various techniques to open the locks, and they have got very good informing system. Okay, so they immediately attack the house where the households are not available. They are out of station, they are working. So simply they break open the lock and take away all the valuables. That means our lifetime earning will go. Clear? Then what is the remedy? So to safeguard the people from such trauma, most of the banks do provide safe deposit lockers. Nowadays when you come outside, you can see this board in front of the certain banks, not all banks. Safe deposit lockers are available. This board you can see, safe deposit lockers. Means, as you are storing your valuables in your home in a cupboard, which is not safe, which is not so strong, there is no security for your home, certain deposit lockers, safe deposit lockers are maintained by various banks in their premises. Safe deposit lockers are maintained by the commercial banks in their premises. So what you have to do, when you keep some advance with the deposit some advance with the banker, and when you accept to pay the locker charges, the bank manager will provide you a locker. That means a certain space. Okay, a space in the bank's strong room. Lockers, many times when you visit pilgrim places like Tirupati, Shirdi, or say when you go to swimming pools, there you will find lockers. No? One place is there, you can keep your things over there. Suppose you want to go to temple darshan and you want to keep your bag safe. So we take the locker for 100 rupees or 150 rupees, we are given a key and we open that, we put all that valuables into that and we lock, we go to darshan and we will come back and again take our belongings. Have you seen this? So at various pilgrim centers they are kept, they are maintained. They are ordinary lockers. Even if you go to these amusement parks like Wonderla or Mount Opera or various places, you are given the lockers. That means you can, as you go for swimming and you change your dressing and all, or some purse, mobile phone, you can keep into that and lock it. Clear? So lockers are provided by these things. That means you pay for that. But there is a difference between those lockers and lockers available at home and the lockers at bank. In bank, you may have a doubt. Sir, when they are stored in our home, in the same almara, the thieves are able to break open that locker. Why not in a bank? When the bank is allowing you to, and you in this locker you have kept your jewelry. Okay. You kept your jewelry or your cash. Why the thieves cannot enter into that? How it cannot be stolen? How we are safe? Because in a bank, the lockers are arranged in a strong room. The lockers are arranged in a strong room. If you visit any commercial bank, you can see every bank will have a strong room. What is a strong room? Which is constructed with certain precautions. The walls are very strong, the door is very thick, and it will have a alarming system. If someone tries to open the door with force, it gives a siren which can be heard till 2 kilometers. Police will come. So there is no possibility of trespass or say forced entry. Only with a valid key you can open the doors. If you try to open the doors forcefully, it will give the alarm, it will give the siren. And you cannot break the walls. Walls are very thick. You cannot break the slab. Slab is also very thick. Cupboards are very heavy. Company cupboards, I don't know this one. You cannot break with normal drill and all. So naturally, a thief cannot enter into the strong room. So there you are given the lockers. Then what happens? Whenever you open a locker, you will find 2 keys. One key will be with the manager, the outer key. Inner key will be with you. And when you go to the bank and you show the identity, that passbook, you are given the keys. One key is to you, one key to manager. One key will be with you only. So then go and open the lock. You will find your jewelry. Whenever there is function, you wear it, and after coming from the function, you deposit, for which you have to pay rent. So like that, various commercial banks are providing locker facilities. Okay. The next one is travelers' checks and credit cards. Means nowadays traveler checks are not much useful because of the credit cards. Means whenever you visit out of station, earlier, we used to carry cash. For example, you are going to Mumbai, you are going to Delhi on some tour. Your account is in Hyderabad. So prior, we used to take 50,000 rupees cash or traveler checks purchased and visiting the other places. Payments are to be made. So the problem is when you carry the cash, there is a chance of pickpocketing or chance of losing money. It is very difficult and inconvenience to carry cash also. So what we are doing is nowadays, simply we are carrying the credit card. It is like almost debit card. So whatever the purchase you make, you can just use that card, show that card. Just by swiping, your payment is made. So when you carry the credit card, payment on behalf of you is made by the banker. At a later date, you will be making the payment to the banker. Even in the previous class, we have discussed about that in advancing loans. Then letter of credit. Letter of credit is nothing but it is an assurance given by the bank on behalf of the importer to the exporter. For example, I am purchasing some 50 lakhs worth goods from American exporter. I am ordering 50 lakhs worth electronic goods or some item. I want to buy from America. So exporter do not know me. I am ordering. At the same time, I do not have such amount. If I get those goods, I can sell them in the Indian market and I can pay the money after 3 months or 4 months to my exporter. If it is domestic trade, because both the seller and buyer belong to the same country, there are not many regulations, rules, and we are known to each other. So by simple promissory note or by simple bill or by simple post dated check, the supplier will give me the goods on credit. But when it is from a foreign country, the exporter may not believe, may not have confidence on my signature and my document. So when I ask for 50 lakhs worth of goods, the exporter may say that, no, I can't believe you. I want some assurance from your bank. So what my bank will do? For example, I have got my account in Koti Andhra Bank or Santosh Nagar Andhra Bank. I am an importer. I am purchasing 50 lakhs worth computer from America Trump. So my bank will write a letter to Mr. Trump. Mr. Trump, Mr. Madhusudan is our account holder for past 6 or 10 years. He is a regular trader. So you can issue goods worth 50 lakhs. On behalf of Madhusudan, we are giving the assurance. So we are ready to make the payment on behalf of Madhusudan. That is the assurance the banker will give. Because bank is a recognized body, the exporter will accept that letter. If individually I will give, who is Madhusudan, he don't know. But Andhra Bank is known. It is a statutory body. It is recognized by Government of India. It can collect money from the bank. So when the bank is giving the letter, the exporter will start exporting process. So this is what called as letter of credit. Means giving a assurance letter on behalf of importer to the exporter. That is also a general utility service. Because of this only, because the banks have started giving these letters of credit, the export and import has increased. If the banks do not play important role over here and they say that no, we can't enter into this international market, so it becomes very difficult for the traders to carry out foreign trade. So next, collection of statistics. What do you mean by statistics? It is the data, information. Statistics is nothing but data. In your economics, it may be there. Like whatever we discuss, India's per capita income, America's per capita income, so many tables are there. Last year this was the population, this year this was increased by this much. Data is there with in economics. Whatever the numerical data in numbers is called as statistics. So banks will collect lot of data with respect to the population, with respect to the income category, with respect to the employment level. They will have that information, because whenever the customers approach the bank for opening of the account, they will take that information, and they have got that resources, they have got that network system through which the bankers will collect lot of information from the customers and from the society, and they will pass on to the users, whoever is required that. Next, underwriting securities. Underwriting securities. Last year we have learnt about underwriters. I hope at least one or two of you know the meaning of underwriting. Okay, I think it is sitting down and writing. Underwriting means no. Underwriting of securities means securities, shares and debentures. Sometimes when joint stock companies issue prospectus for issue of shares, when they give the notification, people should respond and they should come to the company and apply for the shares, and we have to sell the shares. So when we sell the shares, we can get the capital. You know the purpose of selling shares. Every joint stock company issues shares. That means they go for public issue by giving paper ad or maybe in TV or through other banks. So people will come and buy our shares. So when the people buy our shares, we get capital with which we will continue our business activities. At the end of the year, when we earn profits, These profits are distributed among the shareholders in the form of dividends. It is a cycle. Now, sometimes the problem is when a joint stock company issues prospectus, goes for public issue, sometimes people do not respond. Means maybe the company is not reputed, maybe the people, the investors do not have confidence on the management of the company, for whatever the reason may be. Common public do not show interest in buying of your shares. Then what is the problem? When people do not buy, we don't get capital. When people do not buy the shares, we don't get capital. If we don't get capital, we cannot start our firm. For example, I have planned to start my company with 100 crores. I have got some 20 crores with me. For the remaining 80 crores, I have issued my prospectus. I want to sell equity shares of 100 rupees each. I have given various advertisements in newspapers, in TV, hoardings, etc., etc. When really people do come and they buy my shares, I will get the remaining 80 crores of capital with which I can start my firm. But unfortunately, if people do not turn up, when people don't come to buy my shares, I don't get capital. Clear? Then I cannot start my firm. Apart from this, one more problem is there. Last year I told you, when it comes to minimum subscription, if we are not able to sell our shares, first thing is we cannot start our business activity. The second thing is we may forego our registration as public limited company. Last year we have learnt two types of companies: private limited company, public limited company. Private limited company cannot procure, cannot get the share capital from the people, it cannot issue shares. Only public limited company can issue the shares. So if a public limited company issues a prospectus, after issuance of prospectus of 90 days, if the joint stock company does not secure capital, clear, the registrar of companies will cancel your registration as public company. He will say that you are not given the response, so that means you are not accepted by the common public as joint stock company, public limited company. Your shares are not purchased by the people. So better you remain as private company. But you know that in order to establish our firm or our company as public limited company, we have put in lot of efforts and we have completed various documents and we got that registration. But ultimately at the end of the day, unfortunately we don't secure that minimum subscription, we may have to lose that registration of public limited company. Then what we require? We require the some services, some help from the underwriters. So underwriter is a broker who assures a joint stock company in issuing of shares. Very simple, he is a broker. If common people do not buy our shares, he will buy. That is the duty of underwriter. If common people in response to our ad, if they don't turn up and they don't buy our shares, these underwriters will come and buy our shares. So bank will do that also. Bank will do that underwriting job also. If a joint stock company is struggling to sell off its shares, a bank can come forward and will buy the shares. That too for a profit concern only, not at free of cost. They will charge some commission which is known as underwriting commission or underwriters commission. Last year, first year we have learnt that. Then comes gift checks. Means you know, nowadays gifting means any some commodity or something you give to your relatives, cousins, friends. In place of items, you can give checks also. The bank will give you suppose 10,000 rupees, 5,000 rupees, 2,000 rupees. If you want to give to your friends, relatives, cousins, you can give that. Not much popular, but earlier we used to have. So these are the general utility services. Very important and lengthy lesson, lengthy answer. Banking functions. So with this class, we have finished. 10 marks, 90% possibility. Second year commerce, 2 are very frequently and compulsorily asked questions. One is functions of stock exchange. Second is functions of banks or commercial banks, anything. Or you may be given like that. What is the role of banking in Indian economy? Anything. Bank, what are the activities conducted by banks? First you write down the definition of bank. Then you say that banks perform 4 categories of function. First two, primary and secondary. In primary we have got two, that is accepting deposits and advancing loans. In secondary we have got agency services and we have got general utility services. So very lengthy answer. So when you have got textbooks and otherwise you buy and you start reading by hearting the answers. Okay, I hope you understood this one. Then apart from this, in the banking sector so many changes have come. Okay, we are using internet in banking. So what changes have taken place when we have combined internet to banking sector, that we discuss in our next class.